Hello, and happy Sunday. Welcome back to what I learned this week as a female founder. If you don't know me, I'm Elizabeth. I built a business from my laptop and now I travel the world. I'm currently still in Copenhagen. I'm back in the foliage. I'm scared there's gonna be like a massive snake go past or whatever, and so no one's gonna tell me until I see it in edited. It's been kind of a hectic week this week, and I'm currently in the middle of launching. I'm currently in a open cart phase, if you will, for Jenny Girls Club, the online female founder community that I run, and we're pretty much at the end of this week, obviously, sold out, which is very exciting. And I think I'm going to talk about that a little bit more next week, in the sense of what I think, a bit of a recap of all of the things that I think went well and all the things that I've learned over time that I think have helped me get to a more successful launch this time around, which is really exciting. But this week I just wanted to talk about a couple of, because I obviously missed last week's, because it was Hannah's last day, and then we also ended up in the hospital twice, rescuing Hannah from a little bike accident that she had. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about some of this stuff because the kind of interesting concepts are just things that I've been thinking about this week. And the first one is about over-preparing. So I had a little bit of an epiphany. It basically came about because I was thinking about the fact that there's always this balance, there's always this play between how much do I know? Do I need to learn more? Do I need to go out and acquire more information about this one thing that I'm struggling with? Or do I have enough information to go and take action? And that's what I was trying to figure out, is how do you know what the point is where you have enough information and now the next thing is just to take the action? And I thought about it a little bit more, and I came up with this analogy, and I hope that this makes sense. But essentially, it's almost like you're in, you're in a field or you're in the woods, and you come up against this stream. It's like a tiny little river that goes between. You're coming up and you're standing right at the edge. And the easiest thing for you to do would be to step over. Maybe it's a meter wide, so it's quite a big step, but it's not you could just lean forward and go for it, right? And I think that if you feel ready to take that step, if you have enough information and enough experience in your life to know that stepping over a 1 meter stream is not gonna hurt you or it's not gonna end up badly, then you have enough information. The overthinking and over planning and getting more information, more, you're searching for faster ways to do it, more efficient ways to do it, cheaper ways to do it. Looking at those sorts of things is almost like taking a couple of steps back from the stream because you feel like you need to run up to jump over. You think that you're saving yourself time by jumping over really quickly rather than just stepping over. But really, all of those steps back that you take to get the proper run up to jump quickly are actually just the same result with a lot more effort, a lot more energy exerted, and also with it being a bigger deal. That's what's really helped me now, trying to figure out do I know enough stuff? And where am I still pushing for more knowledge or the faster way or the cheaper way, blah, 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 just so I can put off jumping over the threshold, jumping to the next thing. Then the next thing is, I totally can't take credit for this, because this is actually my friend Sophie that came up with this, but we were having a conversation and she sent me a massive voice note about sales, and I asked her permission to put it into the club so that the other girls that we hang out with could hear it. We were talking about sales. Sales and DMs in general have been obviously a massive conversation for us in Jenny Girls Club at the moment, because a lot of us are launching new things, we're in different sales cycles. And yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where when you're collectively focusing on it a lot, I think that's also really helpful. And Sophie was telling me the story, and I really want to recount it because I just find it so interesting, and it was just such a good message, and I'm gonna really condense it and probably butcher it, but it was just so interesting. This is very female founder coded, I feel like this is very Jenny Girls Club coded, because men could never understand. Or maybe they could with a totally different thing, but don't roll your eyes at me. Sophie was going out to buy concealer and foundation. So she was going into the store, and she knew what she wanted, right? But she needed 2 concealers for 2 different reasons. So one of them had to be a perfect match to her skin tone, and the other one had to be light enough, and it didn't really matter about the tone, but it had to be light enough to brighten up her current foundation that's too dark. Why she was making certain buying decisions. And the thing that stood out most to me was actually not so much, and that's what she also said in the end, is she knew that she wanted these 2 concealers for different reasons. But the saleswoman she was talking to assumed that she needed 2 for the same reason, and she really struggled to explain, because she's also in Chile right now, so it's Google Translate. But she struggled to explain that she wanted them for 2 different reasons. And she was saying, and this is the biggest takeaway that I got from it, was that when we talk about sales being service, that's exactly what we mean, in terms of when you can't give someone the feeling that they have bought exactly what they need, and you can't actually even figure out if you have exactly what they need without knowing the exact purpose and the exact angle that they're coming from. Like, I think I've done that a lot with the club, where I've been like, oh, it's about, you know, the friendship element, and I think that the friendship element is such a core part of it. But then we also have girls that join because they want more one-to-one time with me. We have more people join because they want help with their LinkedIn, which is like the whole like content lab stuff. Ultimately, when I did think about it, yeah, girls have joined for different reasons, and I think it is important, or it's more important to me now than it was before, to not just try and sell them on the one thing that I think that they need, which is, you know, friendship and connection, but to also think about what genuinely is their pain point right now. And you can only find that out through asking the right questions and actually being interested. And I think that that's like the girl at the makeup counter didn't really get right, is that she assumed that she was selling the same product for the same reasons. It's what left someone going away with a negative buying experience, or with an experience that they just weren't understood and therefore they weren't going to buy, even though they would have bought if they just felt understood. So that was a super interesting one. I loved that one. And another thing I wanted to talk about this week was rejection. So I actually wrote a post. This is like completely outside of the Jenny Girls Club stuff, to be fair. But I started writing a post this week about how I feel like I'm in my flop era. And this is, again, it's outside of the club. But yeah, I want to talk about rejection because, yeah, I feel like to a certain degree I am in my flop era, but I wonder whether I'm actually not in my flop era. I'm just putting myself out there more and being a little bit more relentless with what I'm trying to achieve and who I'm trying to get in contact with and what I'm trying to do. So I had a little list actually of the things that I've been rejected from. So first of all, my LinkedIn reach is down a lot. I think that's also because I'm intentionally being kind of salesy, but I don't know whether, you know, the LinkedIn gods are basically like punishing that at this point, and it's supposed to just be about insight and about joy and not about like, this is my offer, by the way, which is kind of annoying. Or maybe my posts are just shit. Like, I'm happy to also take responsibility for that. I don't think they are. And I've, you know, written them all with a lot of love, and I've got some posts going out next week that I'm really proud of. I'm in a bit of a flop era right now, I feel, with LinkedIn, and that's always a little bit worrying, but it just gives me another kick up the ass to actually invest in some other platforms as well, because I think I get a little bit too comfortable on LinkedIn, even though it does work. Yeah, what else? I wasn't invited to Cannes Lions. I didn't even really know about Cannes Lions until last week, and now everybody's there, and I've got major FOMO and whatever. Hannah said that she might be going next year, so I might tag along with her. But it seems to be like the it place to be right now. But then again, right, what I will say about Cannes Lions is the people that I see people talking about the most, like Stephen Bartlett being there and Mel Robbins being there, can't lie, that sounds like my worst nightmare, because it's like the fucking grifter Olympics. And I've gone down a massive rabbit hole. I used to love Stephen Bartlett. Like, I used to love him so much. I'm obviously also from Manchester. I've been in the Social Chain offices. Like, he used to be like an idol to me. When his podcast was still him in his room, you know, doing like, I think he was in like the cupboard under the stairs, recording a podcast. And I used to love those episodes. Those episodes were like literally my awakening, and I accredit a lot of my, you know, early personal development to Stephen Bartlett and what he was doing. So I do really like, you know, lots of love for the man, like retrospectively, but it's not mine anymore. Like, I think it was the week where he had like someone who was vegan and then someone who was keto on in the same week, where I was just like, I don't think I can do this anymore. So Stephen Bartlett, lots of love past him, but like, he is totally off my list. This is a bit of a side note anyway. And then Mel Robbins, I mean, she's the queen of basic advice, I'll give her that, but like, I've gone down the biggest rabbit hole of, you know, her being basically a huge grifter in my mind. Don't want to go super crazy on like, you know, hating. First of all, like, a book about the 5-second rule and a book about the Let Them theory could have been blog posts, did not need to be full-blown books. And a lot of her actual rhetoric is so broad and applies to everything and nothing at the same time that it doesn't actually help. And sometimes a lot of her advice is just a cop-out for anyone can change their life if they try hard enough, and if you're not trying hard enough, then it's your fault. Not considering that she used to be a social defender, not considering the different, you know, the different systemic issues, not considering the different, like, circumstances that people are born into. Like, a lot of her advice obviously applies to me because I was born a British woman and everyone speaks my language, but you know, it depends. And then also her involvement in like MLMs and network marketing, similar rhetoric, like if you're not making money then you're not working hard enough and it's all your fault, and you know, just like stuff like that. The way that she talks about AI and women getting left behind, and I think it's all a little bit predatory, and I think a lot of the stuff that she's working on now is very, I think she's just a big like money and cloud chaser, to be honest, and she'll take any old, and she also stole the Latin theory off someone. So anyway, my feelings about Mel Robbins aside, what I'm trying to say is like, there's a lot of people at Cannes Lions that I really, really like and that I really appreciate. And a lot of the people on LinkedIn as well that are there, I have massive respect for and I love so much. Like some of my actual good friends are there and I just, you know, think that everyone is doing amazing. Like the people that are like my age and like have like obviously more followers than me, but like have the same followers as me, being there, I'm so fucking happy for them and proud of them. It's so cool, and that's what I've got FOMO for. I don't think I could like intentionally get a picture with Mel Robbins and feel good about it. Don't think I want to do that. But maybe by next year she'll be cancelled, who knows. But yeah, so that was another part of my flop, is that I'm not at Cannes Lions. I feel like there's a lot of girls that aren't at Cannes Lions that they'll probably wish they were, and now I'm like, do I actually just do I try and organise something in the UK for when I get back in August, because I feel like there is just such a lack of like, you know, the LinkedIn B2B sort of like northern scene, and I know so many girls that I'd love to invite to that, even if it wasn't speakers, it was just like a creator house, or it was just like a, you know, a bit of a, not a retreat, I hate the word retreat, but something interesting, you know. Then next, I've been rejected by a lot of brands recently. Like if you don't know, obviously my main job is Jenny Girls Club, but I also get money from brand deals on LinkedIn. I've actually made over 5 figures in brand deals on LinkedIn. And because LinkedIn's going through quite a big change, and because like brands are trying to be a little bit more picky with who they work with, I think at the moment, I've pitched for some brands that just haven't come through, or it's not the right time, or they don't have the budget for it. And I spent a lot of time on those pitches, and that doesn't matter to me. Like it doesn't matter that I've spent a lot of time, because it's not about me, about what I'm doing. But hearing a lot of no's in succession is definitely very tough, and I think for a while I've really struggled with it. I also got ghosted by like a ton more, which is also sad, you know. But ultimately I feel like the amount of no's and rejections that I'm getting is actually just a reflection on the fact that I'm actually putting myself out there, because I think that the last couple of weeks I've been very almost like angry and resentful at myself for not putting myself out there more, and for just taking it easy, and for just like getting complacent. And I was really, really sick of getting complacent. So I think that now this is the other like swing, where it's like, now I know that I'm getting rejected a lot, I at least know that I'm living up to my potential. Like at least I know that I'm going beyond what the universe currently wants for me, because if everything's a yes, then you're not pushing hard enough for the things that are big and scary. And then lastly, I didn't win the award that I was nominated for. I was a finalist for Young Entrepreneur of the Year in the Northwest, and yeah, I didn't win it, someone else won it. Huge L. I'm gonna start my own fucking award. Jenny Girls Club Awards 2027. Just you wait. Like I say, from the outside, my business is going well, and that is ultimately, like, I think the thing that is the most important is like, my business is going well. Me getting rejected from all of these side quests is not a problem. Ultimately, like, it's not the most important thing in the world. I can be sad about it and demotivated by it, that's fine. Getting yeses in my business is so much more important to me than getting yeses for a brand deal or getting yeses for an award, because they don't mean as much. It's important to remember that every single yes that you get for your business, even if it's a much, much smaller amount, like if I'm making £1,000 from a brand deal, but someone signs up to the club for £125 a month, that yes to the club is so much more important and so much more meaningful, and actually makes me feel so much more good and fulfilled and like I'm doing something good in the world than the one-off payment I get from a brand. Ultimately though, my goal for this year was to put myself out there like a bit more relentlessly, and I knew that the cost of that was going to be hearing a lot more no's, and I still chose to do it, and now I'm just like, you know, reaping the consequences of that. But I can't let it get me down, because again, all of that rejection is redirection, and I think every time that something like this happens, thank goodness I've read The Big Leap. I should probably reread it actually, but thank goodness I know that every single thing that I get a no to is actually not taking me back, but it's taking me one step closer, or one step in the direction of the thing that's even better than I can imagine ultimately. Like when I think about working with, like I want to work with Base 44 so badly, but the capacity in which I work with them might be so much bigger than I can imagine right now. I should let that fuel me and be exciting. And I think that also the other thing that I want to talk about off the back of that is about opportunities, right? Because I used to think that the work was basically done when I got an opportunity, and I noticed that that was the exact reason why those opportunities started drying up, because ultimately, if you believe in the universe like I do, then you'll know that everything is energy, right? Everything is a result of itself. Everything is constantly moving forward. The most important question to ask yourself, especially if you want more opportunities or you're not getting the opportunities that you want right now, it's really important to ask yourself, are you an expander for these opportunities? Like, I think a lot of the times, and I definitely used to do this too, and I've definitely fallen into the trap of doing this more recently, is getting an opportunity and being like, right, sick, I've got the opportunity, now I'm going to do the thing that's needed of me and move on with my life, right? But the universe is always looking for places to get bigger, to expand, to put more energy in, to double itself, to quadruple itself. And I think that it's important to ask yourself, like, if the universe is handing you this energy and handing you this opportunity, can it trust you in terms of the flow of energy? Can it trust you to take that and make the opportunity bigger, to expand the opportunity, to make it even better than the brief or even better than the opportunity itself, and then send it off into the world? And I think that's a super interesting question, because if I think about why maybe I feel like I've got a bit complacent, or maybe why, things haven't, like, I don't feel like things are coming to me all the time, it's maybe because I've been the end point for that energy, for some of these opportunities, where it's like the opportunities come to me and I've just done it and forgot about it, and it's not gotten better as a result of being with me. And hopefully that will also, again, energetically result in bigger opportunities, because the universe can trust me with that expansion. You know what they say, after the biggest flops come the greatest slays, so I'm hopeful. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about this week. It's been another crazy week. Next week, the doors for Jenny Girls Club will be closed officially, which is very exciting, and I'm very excited to recap everything with you. I'm also going to do a little bit of a series, hopefully, on my Instagram about breaking down all of the data and everything that happened in my launch. I'm gonna have a full launch breakdown. Maybe I'll do a longer one on YouTube, but yeah, I'm all for a little bit of building in public, and this one's been, like I say, it's been quite a popular round. I'm really hoping that it fully sells out and that I can make a big post about how I finally properly sold out for once. I know that things never, end up the way that you think they're going to end up, so I know that it's not until everybody's actually in the club. I'm still, holding my breath a little bit. But yeah, we'll do like a proper breakdown about that next week. But I hope you've enjoyed, I hope you've had a wonderful week, and I hope you have a very successful week ahead. And yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.